So anybody here breathe? There you go. You're doing yoga, right? Anybody here think occasionally? No? Right? Even do you think occasionally maybe sometimes?
What's great about yoga is that it's really about connecting with yourself, and part of yourself that's unaffected by what's happening in your body, and so it's really a spiritual practice. And even if you don't believe in spiritual stuff, it's fine. It's still about just connecting with some truth, some essence of us that we find within.
Right? And whether you have full mobility of your body or not is irrelevant to yoga. It's what goes on here, and whether this is what I call a garage sale or it's a library, it doesn't matter. It's what you're into. So if you want to yoga,
It's still about just connecting with some truth, some essence of us that we find within. And that part of us is always there, no matter what. And so I say yoga is so powerful, and we can use these very simple practices, the body and the breath and the mind, to connect with some essential self.
big breath in. Really slow breath out through the nose.
We're here to help educate people with disabilities or people who have not the exposure to yoga about yoga. And then people who are already yoga teachers, we educate them on how they can inspire themselves to learn more about working with different populations.
I think the ability to self-soothe with breathing is I think the best, one of the pinnacle benefits, because regardless of what you come in with, to be able to tap into that effect, that parasympathetic nervous system calming that breathing has, crosses all boundaries, all levels. It can help with, they did a study where with meditation and just doing mindful meditation can have a profound effect on chronic pain. So that meditative breathing, stretching and exercising is awesome, but it's just being able to tap into using the breath properly.
Find that soft, subtle inhale. Imagine you have the breathing ball on your left. And then very slow, deliberate exhale.
So if somebody's got kind of, we call it the monkey mind, when your mind is kind of going, whether it's chemical, or whether it's, psychological, just to go, I just need to take a deep breath, and to help people learn that they can do that for themselves, right? It's so powerful, whether you're the person who has something going on or you're a caregiver.
You use the body, so we're moving the body in these poses, but the point of it is not just the poses, but actually to get relaxed and peaceful. And I think that's so often lost. So I think almost every disability can benefit from some kind of practice. Now, it may not be always physical, because meditation is part of yoga. So it's just how mindfulness and awareness of your breath, tools like that are useful for almost everybody.
The transformation in the students in the able-bodied students was amazing. It was like a piece of poetry, because watching people with various disabilities come in and figure their bodies out and figure out how to work with me to get them on the floor and back in the chair, and watching them transform, witnessing people who are different than them that I think just didn't cross their minds, that they were in some ways excluded. And so watching them bloom and be opened up was almost as rewarding as watching the people with disabilities start to get into yoga.
And having worked with the kids, people would bring in kids that were on the autism spectrum, and I was starting to see how they were responding, and taking little trainings here and there, learning about restorative yoga and the practices that would apply to differently abled bodies. I started to put two and two together and say, I think this is where I really want to spend more of my time. And learning more about yoga anatomy and how the yoga poses that we know about are supposed to fit the bodies, not the bodies supposed to fit into the yoga poses. And the psychological and physiological effects can work despite, out regardless of whatever body you bring to the table. You don't have to have, that yoga model's body.
The shoulders relax, let your lips come together, your tongue gently pressed against the roof of your tongue. Know that this process is accessible all the time to you. At any moment, you can simply close your eyes, take a time out.
If you have a disability, or even if you don't, I mean, all of us have a lot of stress, and we all need to find a way to handle that, right? To deal with our stress. And that's what yoga is so amazing at. It was literally designed to reduce stress. And I think it's like the perfect antidote to this kind of crazy modern life we have.
AccessibleYoga.org has a map of all their instructors. And so all you have to do is go to their map and dial in your location, and you will find an Accessible Yoga trained instructor.
There might be people who are interested in yoga but are afraid or haven't done it yet. And I would just kind of review a few things you could do if you're interested in starting yoga. You could always, do a little research online and find out if there's a local class that sounds appropriate for your level of activity. And that's the thing, is to really read the descriptions of the classes and see, does that sound like something I can do? There's chair yoga classes available in most communities these days, so that can be very accessible to start. And then if you're still insecure, to try to reach out to the teacher directly and actually see if you can communicate with them before you go to the class and ask them, maybe tell them, say, I have this disability or this issue or this chronic illness, is this class appropriate for me?
Open to questions if people want to go to the website and send me questions. My email's on there, so I'm happy to point people in the direction. If I can't provide the resource, then I love to be a network resource for other people to send them into the right place.
Once the palms are open, bring them together, hands close to your heart. Sealing our intention in taking care of ourselves today. Mind, body, and spirit. In traditional yoga class, we honor each other with the word that means the light and peace is the light of being. That word is namaste. Namaste. When you're ready, your eyes flutter